Howdy there, folks. Welcome into today's video. 4 stocks to talk about here today. Big news in regards to all 4 here today. We're going to speak about PayPal, Amazon, Palantir, Tesla. We will speak about Shopify for a moment as well. Shopify just released their Cyber Monday numbers, so I thought we'd go through those as well. But those 5 stocks, that's where the focus of today's video will be. That's what we're going to talk about. Big news in regards to all those. I want to share my opinions and perspectives on that. I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have heard the news by now. Charlie Munger did indeed pass away here today. So over the next few days, I might show you guys a few interesting quotes I've loved from Charlie Munger over time. This is one of them I've seen in the past. It says, I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, sometimes not even the most diligent, but are learning machines. They go to bed every night a little wiser than when they got up. And boy, does that help over time, particularly when you have a long run ahead of you. And I mean, I've just seen, not only in my own life, but other people's lives, like, you know, it's about consistently getting better, smarter, adapting, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, making sure you don't make those again. Go ahead, create yourself stronger, better, day after day after day. And it's no different than an artificial intelligence program, right? You know, they learn more and more over time, and that's what you got to stay. Like, if there's ever a day in your life where you didn't learn something, that's a lost day. That's the bottom line in regards to that. I mean, you know, if I go back 15 years ago, it was hard to even fathom that in a day like today, I make $30,000+ in one day in one portfolio. $30,000+ up today in one day in one portfolio, right? And 15 years ago, I was making $7.50 an hour cleaning dishes at Heinstein Bagels, right? Making $8 an hour at Walgreens. And to be kind of where I'm at in just every day learning. There's not a day that goes by where I'm not learning, adapting, becoming better and better. And on the YouTube channel over time, that's just what I try to do. Just teach you guys all this different stuff, mistakes I've made, things I've done right, you know, teach you not to go down this route, go down that route, and all those sorts of things. And then obviously in my private group, I teach all that as well. If you want to apply, join in there, pin comment down there. Alrighty guys, big news in regards to PayPal. This was a tweet, if they still call it a tweet, now that's called X, that Alex Chris sent out there a few hours ago, okay? This is big. He says, our preliminary PayPal numbers from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday show an impressive pace of spending with customers. They processed approximately 400 million transactions. Now, I'm interested to know, is this just the PayPal side, or does this include Venmo or other businesses or things like that, or is this, you know, I'm not very clear about. But he says they processed approximately 400 million transactions from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. They put $8 million back in customers' hands with cashback plus savings. Cyber Monday was the largest shopping day of the year with approximately $5.8 billion in total payment volume and 87 million transactions, right? So obviously PayPal putting up some pretty booming numbers, and we've heard from others they're putting up booming numbers as well. So it's not like PayPal's the only one, but definitely good. And I love the transparency of Alex Chriskus going out there and telling the world like what's going on here, right? And I can tell you, I ordered a few things from a few different websites, and I just love the PayPal experience when you go to checkout. Like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, I look specifically for PayPal now because it's so dang easy. You know, I was putting my my almost 2-year-old for a nap, right, yesterday, and I wanted to order a few things on Cyber Monday on a couple websites, right, and I wasn't buying my credit card, I wasn't buying anything like that, and so it was nice, like on Foot Locker, for instance, just literally check out with PayPal, and boom, all my info's entered in, everything's ready to rock and roll, and I can just pay seamlessly, don't have to worry about going to get my credit card and entering all the numbers and entering in my shipping address, none of that BS, like, and then the same exact thing, I was able to do that with Nordstrom as well, check out with PayPal, it's done literally within 5 seconds. Within 5 seconds, everything's ready to rock and roll. My address is in, credit card's in. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff, man. And so such a seamless process overall. And I think, you know, as the years tick on, I think more and more people are going to find like how great of an experience it really is. Overall, I absolutely love it. By the way, completely random question. Should I buy these shoes or not? If there's anybody that has a, you know, let's call it taste in shoes, this is totally, you know, not my normal style. These 1977 vintage Nikes. What do you guys think? I thought that was a good deal for $63, but it's very different. Let me know. Are those, you know, do those have the drip, man, or no drip? Okay, let me know. No, PayPal's starting to run big. This stock's up nearly 15% just in the past month. That's a considerable move in a very short amount of time in regards to PayPal, right? Here's what I'm thinking as far as me buying more shares of the stock overall, right? My thought process has been, I need to get to 2,000 shares in the public count, right? And I own PayPal and other portfolios as well, including the Patreon portfolio. PayPal is actually my biggest stock. I am considering maybe that's not enough shares, just to be quite honest. I might go to 2,000 shares and then go all out above 2,000 shares. I might not be done buying PayPal. It really is going to come down to, do I have better opportunities in 2024 or not? I'm hoping to get to 2,000 shares before the end of this year, and I think I should be able to get there in regards to PayPal, but I don't know, man. I might have to seriously consider just continue to buy the stock, and even if it goes to 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, I'm going to have to consider just continue to buy the stock and buy the stock, especially if as these quarters tick on, I like the progress that Alex Chriss is making in the company, and I like the revenue and the EPS numbers he puts up over the next few quarters. I mean, it could be very well that PayPal is just my best investment opportunity right now. It could be. And so that's something I'm considering. Now, Shopify, I don't know if you guys had saw the globe thing they had and showing exactly how many transactions are going through and the dollar amounts per minute, but Shopify's knocking out of the ballpark. Shopify merchants drive record high $9.3 billion in Black Friday through Cyber Monday sales. Incredible. Shopify merchants reached a record $9.3 billion in sales over Black Friday through Cyber Monday weekend, a 24% increase from last year. That's incredible. Incredible. 61 million consumers buying things. I guess it peaked at around $4.2 million was being spent every minute at the peak. Absolutely incredible in regards to this. No, I love this. I love this. Not just because I'm a Shopify shareholder, not just because I love to see people spending money. I love this for this fact. Shopify, let's be honest, like most people that use Shopify are small businesses. Small businesses have been in a bad state for the last couple of years. Okay, if you look at the small business confidence index, I mean, it's been bad they've had 22 straight months below a 50-year average. I mean, 22 straight months. And the reason being was inflation, right? Inflation sliced and diced small businesses, and they've been in a bad place the last few years. And so I love it. Like, small business, in my opinion, has always been what runs the world, what runs the U.S. economy. And so I love it when I can see small business winning. And Shopify is small business. Like, they are small business. And so I just love it. Absolutely love it. Because everybody that, most people that use Shopify are not big, huge, large organizations, corporations. It's a lot of small businesses. That's who's really on Shopify. So love it. Love to see it, man. Absolutely love to see it. Now, on top of that, more good news. Cyber Monday rang in a $12.4 billion in sales, supposedly, alone on just Cyber Monday, and I believe that was just U.S. related. Adobe Analytics said it was up about 9.6% compared to last year, which is very strong, and obviously, that's significantly above the inflation rate. If it was just up, let's say, 3 or 4%, even 5%, and say, okay, we're roughly in line with inflation. 9.6%, that means people are spending a lot of money. And keep in mind, there's been a lot of good deals, kind of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It just depends on what category you're really looking at. Clothing, I've seen a lot of good deals, a lot of discounts in regards to clothing specific. And so I think there's a lot of clothing prices that are actually significantly lower this year than they were last year. So good to see overall. Now, in regards to Shopify stock, I do think that the numbers are way too low for analysts. Okay, here's the deal. Shopify is putting up these 20% plus numbers on a year-over-year basis. They're probably going to come in with a 20% plus revenue growth just from total payment volumes kind of being up. Okay, keep in mind they've also gone up on customers recently over the past year, so that's all going to hit as well. Plus a lot more Shopify payments going through. I think their revenue is going to be, I think it's in the bag for a 25 to 30% plus up number on a year-over-year basis. Analysts are at 19%. And when you come in with that sort of beat that I think they'll come in with next quarter in terms of revenue, I think their EPS is going to be, way higher. Analysts are at 29 cents. I think there's a potential they could do 40 to 50 cents of EPS in the quarter over here, which is substantially above where analysts are at overall. So I think Shopify sets up freaking amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. These numbers coming through a Shopify, I mean, there's one company I would probably be the most confident in for their next quarterly numbers, it's probably Shopify, folks. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, that leads me to talk about Amazon, right? Because several huge pieces of news came out in regards to Amazing's here today, and then we'll get to Palantir and Tesla. First one is Amazon announced they had a record-breaking Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping events. Now, there's a problem with that, okay? They said they had a record-breaking Black Friday, record-breaking Cyber Monday. You might say, well, what's the problem? And why is why was it red today when they came out and released that? And they said that, like, record-breaking, that's great. Well, the problem is, folks, no one knows what does record-breaking mean. Does that mean sales were up 1%, 3%, 5%, 7%, 10%, 20%? We don't know. And so the thought process is, and this might be a false thought process, but it is a thought process that goes through a lot of investors' mind, is if the number was that impressive, they would have released a specific number like Shopify did. Since Amazon did not say a specific number, then a lot of people are running to the assumption that the number is, yeah, it's a record breaker, but it's not an impressive number. And it's going to make them look really poor compared to Shopify. That's the thought process. We don't know. We'll see as things shake out. Overall, we'll see when their actual quarterly numbers come out at the end of January, beginning of February, whenever that happens, right? But for right now, people actually looked at it as a negative. Now, two other huge pieces of news came out in regards to Amazon here today. One is AWS and NVIDIA announced strategic collaboration to offer new supercomputing infrastructure, software, and services for generative AI. So look at this. Amazon's going to load up on a bunch of H200 chips from NVIDIA. That's their next generation chip that's coming out next year, which, can you imagine the price of the H200? Like the H100 chip is just, it's hard to fathom how expensive that chip is. I mean, I've seen estimates where it's tens of thousands of dollars just for one of those chips. Do you know what the H200 is going to cost? You think NVIDIA is going to sell it for a discount when it's got way better performance and it makes the H100 look like it's just a, an okay chip? I mean, oh my gosh. So this bodes very well, not just for Amazon, but it bodes very well for NVIDIA. Very well for NVIDIA, that they already got these big orders coming through. AWS is trying to stay ahead of the game in regards to, their cloud product. Obviously, they are the big dog in the market, and they got to always stay ahead of everybody else. Now, on top of that, AWS also unveiled a next-generation AWS design chip as well, right? And so Anthropic, Databricks, Datadog, Epic, Honeycomb, SAP are among customers using new AWS design chips. So that's good as well. Now, the thing that's important that everybody understands, because you're like, okay, AWS has a new chip coming out. Well, why do they need H200s and H100s and these NVIDIA chips? Can't everybody just compete? Listen, these are whole different categories. These are whole different chips doing whole different things, okay? These are not the same. If everybody just created an H200 NVIDIA chip, everybody would do it. Or even an H100 for that matter. You can't. You're years behind on that technology. These chips serve a very different purpose than the NVIDIA chips serve, okay? This is extremely important. NVIDIA's got, the supercar. Like think of it like this, okay? Amazon's chips and these other companies that you hear like, oh, we got our new in-house chip that we're doing and things like that. Those are like Toyota Corollas, okay? Those are like Honda Civics, Honda Accords. Maybe even some of those chips might be a Mercedes-Benz. The NVIDIA chips are an F1 car. An F1 car, okay? It's a whole different category of a chip. It's a whole different category, okay? So, this is just a false assumption I've heard time and time again is people see stuff like this and headlines like this and they think oh, this is AWS competing with NVIDIA. Like, no, I wish, like as an Amazon shareholder, I wish that were true, but no, okay? These are very different chips serving very different purposes than what NVIDIA's got out there. Believe me, if Amazon had chips as powerful as H200, it wouldn't be looking to partner with NVIDIA to make, these supercomputers. Like, no, okay? Bottom line in regards to that. So good news overall for Amazon on several different fronts there. But once again, we just don't know how strong Black Friday, Cyber Monday really was for Amazon, okay? Next up, Palantir. Let's talk about Palantir here for a moment. And by the way, a company is reporting earnings tomorrow. That's an important one in regards to people kind of sometimes put it in the same category as Palantir, even though they're different business models. So here we go. Steep slide is likely, says Deutsche Bank about Palantir stock. Shares traded lower, this was yesterday, on the announcement after considering the finer details of the agreement. And this is really in regards to the new agreement, obviously, in Europe, right? And so this gentleman says the announcement is likely viewed as a modest disappointment to investors given the presumed single contract had previously been pegged at around $600 million over 5 years, and it was unclear that multiple other GSI partners would be sharing the work, the five-star analyst explained. Five-star analyst, well, note Palantir will still be able to bid on additional procurement for the platform. As we often see with government contracts, these can be potentially expanded upon over time, which is 100% true. No, this gentleman says there's no clear line of sight, and he still backed his $11 price target on Palantir, which is down 40+% from here, right? That's a considerable downside, $11 price target. So, yeah, he's warning of a potentially big slide in Palantir overall. And, you know, this goes to show you kind of where analyst community is really at still in regards to Palantir. You know, obviously the stocks had a tremendous year. Just because the stocks had a tremendous year does not mean they've won over all the analyst community and won over Wall Street. You know, 4 buys on Palantir, 5 holds, 6 sells. Overall, people are still overall bearish on Palantir. Despite all its performance, despite what they got going on, despite Foundry and AIP and Gotham and everything, Apollo, like despite all that, like analysts are still overwhelmingly actually bearish on Palantir stock, right? And so keep in mind, the stock price performance doesn't matter that much for Palantir. These folks that are negative on Palantir are going to continue to be negative on Palantir. They're going to continue to say things like Palantir stock is just AI hype. The stock's a cult stock, which, by the way, that's probably true. It is a cult stock. I don't disagree with that as somebody that's a shareholder of the company. And by the way, I love that. You know, I want people that are, you know, very, very long-term focused in regards to the company. But if Palantir puts up the numbers, it's going to be, if they put up the numbers in 2024, they accelerate the revenue growth rates to 20% plus. If that bottom line starts increasing rapidly, at some point in time, the analysts will have to start flipping bullish on Palantir. But you've got to put up the numbers to do it. Analyst community overall in regards to Tesla stock, you know, and Palantir draws a lot of parallels with Tesla stock. You know, back when I was first buying Tesla, this is back in like 2018, 2019, analyst community is extremely negative on Tesla. Do you know they won the analyst community over? It wasn't the stock going up. It was the numbers coming through. It was when Tesla started putting up insane growth rates, insane EPS, insane margins, that all of a sudden the analyst community started coming around to Tesla and they said, you know what, the stock's a buy. And it became a relentless stock that you had to start to back. And you had to start putting buy price targets on. You had to start saying, you know, I think the stock's going to this. And then, by the way, the analyst community ended up becoming too bullish on Tesla probably by the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. But that's what you have to do. You have to put up the numbers. And so if Karp and the team put up the numbers, respect will come. Respect on Wall Street will come to Palantir. It will be more than just Dan Ives out there talking positively about Palantir. And by the way, Gene Munster, I heard him say a few positive things about Palantir as well here today, actually. But it takes time. You got to put up the numbers. You don't put up the numbers, you won't get the respect. You put up the numbers, eventually these Wall Street analysts have to start coming around and have to start putting up buy prices and all those sorts of things. So the world is Palantir's in 2024, but they got to put up the numbers. No, in regards to Palantir, a lot of times, and I don't think it's right because these are different business models, but a lot of times Palantir gets put in the same category as Snowflake. It's been one of those stocks that a lot of people compare it to. Once again, I don't think it's right, but it is what it is. Snowflake reports earnings tomorrow after the bell. I will be live streaming on Twitch those earnings live on there, okay? So if you want to watch that, then watch that tomorrow. It's going to be like a 3-hour live stream. I'm going to listen to a conference call on their live, and Snowflake executives have been pretty clear. They said you're going to see the software side, in terms of AI, start to really come through in 2024. We're going to hear tomorrow, are they still feeling confident about that? That's going to benefit companies like a Snowflake, but it's also going to benefit companies like Palantir, huge. Should benefit even companies like AWS and Amazon as well, okay? And so if you're wondering, like, when's the money start pouring in on the software side? Because we've seen it pour in on the hardware side. Look at NVIDIA's numbers. But if you're wondering on the software side, from what we're hearing, it's a 2024 story. And that's going to be very exciting for a lot of these companies' growth rates, including a Palantir. And that's one of the reasons I think analysts are too low in all their numbers in regards to Palantir for 2024. We'll see. But that conference call is going to be big tomorrow. Those earnings will be big. Also, Salesforce is reporting, which is a huge stock and very important in the market in general. We want to see a revenue acceleration in them as well on a year-over-year basis, but also on a sequential basis, quarter-over-quarter as well. So I'll be live streaming that tomorrow on Twitch, okay? Next up here is Tesla. Tesla, my Tesla. So here's the deal. This is crazy, okay? This is crazy. So Cybertrucks are starting to hit some of these showrooms, okay? Now, first thing is, obviously, there's a lot of hype. I've heard, you know, people are already lining up to take pictures of these Cybertrucks and all these sorts of things, and it's a huge deal. Like, we've never seen anything like this. Other than maybe Model 3. Model 3 was probably pretty close to that. But in terms of excitement, like, People that aren't even going to buy a Cybertruck are going to be going out of their way and driving to Tesla stores to see a Cybertruck. Think about that. And that's going to happen over this next 6 to 12 months. People in the mall are going to be looking inside the Tesla stores just to see if there's a Cybertruck in there. And if there is, they're going to be taking photos and videos and posting all over their social media and sending to their friends, sending to their family member. We're about to go through a cycle like we've never seen in regards to a vehicle in the history of mankind. The closest thing would be Model 3, but even this is a whole different level. I mean, there'll be no way to quantify it, but the amount of people that are going to be sharing photos and videos and going out of their way to see these Cybertrucks in person, it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen in history, okay? But, Cybertrucks are starting to hit some of these showrooms, and now people are taking pictures of them, and they're trying to say oh, there's some blemishes here on the truck, or it's not right, or it's not, this is a problem, or things like that, and they're putting a lot of scrutiny on it. And keep in mind, I think there's going to continue to be scrutiny, and the reason being is this Cybertruck's a huge competitive threat, and I'll show you some images in just in a moment of problems with the Cybertruck, which is like this whole situation, okay? But keep in mind, there's a lot of entities that don't want the Cybertruck to succeed, right? I mean, if you think about this is a serious competitive threat to the Fords, to the GMs, right? That those business models have made considerable amounts of money on pickup trucks. Also, you turn on a dang football game, turn on your TV, watch the news, watch whatever. What do you see? Massive amounts of commercials for pickup trucks. What are you not going to see when you watch the football game, when you watch the news on TV? You're not going to see Cybertruck commercials. So a lot of people are going to be very incentivized to post negative stuff about Cybertruck. And if they see any sort of blemish, problem, panel gap, anything like that in regards to Cybertruck, they're going to be trying to post it anywhere because you're not going to make any money off Tesla. They don't advertise. They don't advertise on traditional media. So if anything, traditional media wants Cybertruck to not be as successful, so people buy the other company's products, so those companies continue to spend and spend and spend on traditional media, okay? And obviously those companies that are the ones that make trucks are very incentivized to, have these things be known, okay? So just, this is a little something to keep in mind in regards to this whole battle, okay? Now, here's some pictures, and you tell me, is this really problems? So this is a picture here. I don't know. I guess some people were mad that there's this blemish right here. And there's this it looks like almost like a scratch type mark right here and right here. And they're saying, ooh, boy. Okay, now these are super zoomed in photos, by the way. Super zoomed in photos. So this is the big problems, okay? They're looking right here and they're saying, well, maybe this panel gap's bigger at the top than the bottom. And there's all these sorts of things that people are going wild about and saying, this... Dude, 99% of people don't know what the flip they're even looking at. I don't even, I'm looking at some of these different photos people have been posting about the Cybertrucks on just different social medias or wherever, and, if it is anything that's a problem, right? Which, keep in mind, that stuff's going to be 2% of what will actually be posted. The other 98% is just going to be wow and, positive stuff, right? But the 2%, I'm looking and I'm like, how desperate are folks to try to find problems in these Cybertrucks, these early production trucks? I'm looking at it, I'm just laughing. I'm like, what are we talking about? Is this serious? Are people really serious about this? About this Cybertruck problems? What are we talking about, man? And so, me as a Tesla shareholder, I'm just looking at it no, and no, okay? If they're going to make a big deal about this, no. And by the way, Tesla's never been known as the best fit and finish car. Bottom line with that, right? They've never been the one that's known with the best panel gaps and all that BS that other people think is so important. Dude, give me one of those Cybertrucks that's in the showrooms right now. I'll buy it right now. Literally right now. I'll wire the money. Cash. We got it. We'll do it right now. Ask anybody that really wants one of those Cybertrucks, dude, they will give me it. What the heck are we talking about? It's crazy. But this is what they're going to run with. This is a narrative, and they're going to try to point out anything that's wrong and any scratch and anything. And if this little panel gap here is a little bit different than this one, they're going to try to point that out. In the end, 1% of people care about that. The other 99% don't care. We don't even know what we're looking at. What are we talking about here, okay? So, anyways, that's that. But yeah, that's the Tesla news, folks. Come on, man. Come on. This is what people are making a big deal about? Seriously? Seriously? My gosh. We'll see, okay? My prediction is Cybertruck's going to sell a ridiculous amount of units. It's going to be a serious competitive threat to anybody that makes a pickup truck around the world, and certainly the United States of America. And they better be scared. They better be scared. And they are. That's why they'll try to find anything negative in regards to these trucks. Believe me on that. And it's not going to end in the showroom. They're going to try to test them out, make them look bad. They're going to try a lot of tricks. Trust me on that. It's just a matter of time. Appreciate y'all joining me as always. Thanks so much for being here, folks. If you're looking to apply, join my private group, get access to all my courses, be part of the 6- and 7-figure Discord chats, see the moves I'm making in my nearly $2 million Fidelity account. Check out pinned comment down there. You can fill out an application. We can see if we get you in there either this week or next week. Much love and have a great day.